Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our orientation session for distance learning cohort number 22. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm glad you're all able to join us. I think there'll be a few folks who won't be here today, but I think we have the vast majority of folks who signed up to be here. So what we have done is we put together a program for you this morning to kind of get you off on the right foot in the DLMPA22 program. My name is Dr. Powell, and I am the Distance Learning Director for the program. I've been the director of the program since 2004, so I guess I'm going into year 18 as director of the program, and I've been here on faculty at Cal State Long Beach now for my 21st year. So been around for a while and been running the program for a while. It's hard for me to believe that we're already on cohort number 22. Started as director back on cohort number 4, I guess it was. And so it's kind of shocking that we're already on 22, but we're happy to have you with us here this morning. I know a few folks will be joining us a little bit later, but let me just introduce a few folks who hopefully will be here today. Again, my name is Dr. Powell, and I'm the director of the program. I don't know if he'll be here today, but our interim department chair in the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration is Dr. Adam Butts. The way in which our program works is that our program is one of 2 MPA programs delivered by the Graduate Center for Public Policy. The Graduate Center for Public Policy is an academic department on the campus of Cal State Long Beach. And so we have this distance learning MPA program we deliver, and then we also have a state-supported program that we deliver as well. So Dr. Butts is the interim chair for the Graduate Center, which is the academic department. Then also today we have Professor Dina Berg, who hopefully will be joining us as well. She will be your instructor for your first course in the program, PPA 500. And so later on today, she'll talk to you a little bit about the course and some of the requirements and expectations in your first course in the program. Then, of course, today we also have Jenny Salk-Wisman. You're all very familiar with Jenny. You've been working with her throughout the application process over the past couple of months. Jenny is amazing, and she really is the program coordinator in the Graduate Center for this distance learning program. And Jenny will be helping me out today. What we're going to do today is, as we go through our program, we do have time reserved at the end of our morning session for questions. And so I would ask if everyone could just mute your microphones for now, and we'll reserve any of your questions for later on in the program today. If you do have some questions about specific topics as we are covering those questions, text chat is open and available for you. So you can always post those questions into text chat. Jenny and I will both be monitoring text chat as we go through the program, and we'll be doing our best to address any questions that are in text chat. So reserve your questions for the end, or you can put them in text chat as we go through our program today. To continue with some introductions, our program is delivered as a joint partnership between the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration and the College for Professional and International Education, otherwise known as CPI. And so we have a couple of representatives from CPI here with us today who will talk to you in a few minutes about registration and enrollment, Matt Reimers and Anderson Dunn. We also are very fortunate to have the technical support of Academic Technology Services, ATS. I know Chad Harris is with us today, and we appreciate you being here today, Chad. And a little bit later on, Chad will talk to us about the use of Beachboard, which is essentially Blackboard, but we call it Beachboard here at Cal State Long Beach, as well as Zoom. And Zoom is the program you'll be using for your weekly synchronous class sessions. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Zoom. We've all become very familiar with Zoom over the past couple of years throughout the pandemic. So I think those are our introductions for today. I don't know if Sabrina is here or not today, but I'm sure Chad will be handling. She's not here. Okay, so Chad will be handling all the academic technology services sections of the agenda. So those are our introductions for today. This session is being recorded, and so if you ever need to refer back to any of this information, the recording will be made available for you. What I'll do is I usually load it up to YouTube and then provide a link, and I'll talk to Professor Berg about providing that link in your PPA 500 class, so you kind of have one-stop shopping if you ever need to go back and watch this video again. So those are our introductions. As you'll see on our agenda, we have a presentation from the Office of Financial Aid, And then CPI will talk to us about registration and enrollment. Chad will talk to us about Beachboard and Zoom. Then as we get near the end of our morning session together, Professor Berg will talk to you about the PPA 500 course. And then I have a presentation for you on the program in general, talk a bit about the history of the program, what makes the program unique and distinctive, and kind of give you a little heads up about how the courses will work, the duration of the courses, and what the schedule moving ahead would look like. And then again, at the end of today's session, we then have a few minutes available for any questions that you may have. So let me go ahead at this time and share with you a presentation that was provided to us from the Office of Financial Aid. Unfortunately, I don't think we have anyone here with us today from the Office of Financial Aid, but they did provide this nice presentation, and let me share it with you. If you can't hear it once I start it, please let me know that in text chat, but it should work well.
Hi, in today's presentation from the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, we will cover the financial aid application process, eligibility requirements, types of financial aid, when financial aid disperses, and the cost for the Masters of Public Administration distance learning program. To begin, the application process for federal financial aid is limited to those who meet the general federal eligibility requirements in the next slide. The free application for federal student aid is available for each academic year beginning October 1st the year before on the student aid website. For those interested in applying, the current year and upcoming year applications are currently available and should be completed as soon as possible. All of the following federal aid requirements must be met in order to be considered for federal aid. Applicants must be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, have a valid Social Security number, males must be registered with the Selective Service, applicants must be admitted and enrolled into courses that satisfy degree program requirements, be enrolled in at least half-time, have a high school diploma or recognized equivalent, and maintain satisfactory academic progress. The federal direct unsubsidized loan is not based on need and not based on credit. The annual limit is $20,500, but federal loan recipients have a lifetime combined subsidized and unsubsidized borrowing limit of $138,500. Because the unsubsidized loan is not based on credit, you are considered for this award when you complete the FAFSA and meet the general federal aid requirements. The Grad Plus loan is also a federal loan, except it is credit-based and would require those who are interested to apply directly on the student aid website. Both the federal direct unsubsidized loan and Grad Plus loan have annual fixed interest rates and origination fees to process those loans. As they may change year to year, review the percentages on the student aid website each year you complete your FAFSA. Lastly, there are private loans, which are alternatives to federal loans. Private loans require those who are interested to apply directly with their private lenders of choice, and eligibility is determined by those private lenders. Once you have submitted your FAFSA, the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships will notify you of any additional documents required to confirm your financial aid eligibility in April prior to the next academic year. If there are no additional documents required from you, an award package will be offered in July. For your first term of attendance beginning middle of the current academic year, you should anticipate an award offer or notification of additional documents within 2 weeks of the date our office receives a copy of your application. Once you receive an award offer, you may choose whether or not you want to accept the aid to assist you with your educational costs. If you decide to accept the federal direct unsubsidized loan or apply for the Grad Plus loan, the federal student aid does require you to complete the entrance counseling to ensure that you understand the responsibilities and obligations you are assuming, and signing a master promissory note in promise to repay your loans and any accrued interest and fees. Both items are in the student aid website as well as the confirmation page when you complete your FAFSA. Your accepted loans will not be released to you if these steps are not complete. The Federal Direct Unsubsidized Loan and Grad Plus Loan requires a minimum of half-time enrollment. Since your courses are in sessions, you do not meet the half-time enrollment of at least 4 units until the second course of that season begins. These courses in red is when you will meet the half-time requirement in the university's traditional academic calendar. CSULB does not offer financial aid in the winter, and your coursework does not meet the minimum half-time requirement to apply for summer loans. Therefore, when deciding to borrow loans between fall and spring, be sure to include any winter and summer coursework in mind when you do your personal financial planning. One of the general federal aid requirements listed on the FAFSA and the student aid website states federal aid applicants and recipients must maintain satisfactory academic progress, also known as SAP, to receive and to continue to receive financial aid. The Department of Education has established 3 standards to measure what is considered satisfactory academic progress: GPA, pace of progress, and maximum time frame. Graduate recipients must maintain a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.0, passing at least 67% of attempted units, and can only receive financial aid for 150% times the minimum units required to complete the program. Therefore, it is important to take only graduate level required coursework and successfully complete them to ensure that you maintain satisfactory academic progress. SAP is evaluated after each fall, spring, and summer semesters when grades are finalized, and students will be notified by email of their SAP status when evaluations are complete. The current program cost listed in your department's website states a cost of $500 per unit, $1,500 per course, totaling $19,500 for the program. The cost of attendance or budget is the average cost to attend CSULB for one academic year, consisting of fall and spring semesters. The cost of attendance on your student portal helps you and the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships determine approximately how much money you will need to attend and how much financial aid you will need to meet that goal. Aside from mandatory fees, the cost of the courses, the cost of attendance includes average room and board, books and supplies, travel, loan fees, and personal expenses. Therefore, you will notice the cost of your program does not equal the cost of coming to CSULB because tuition is only a fraction of the average budget. For example, Tom, a new spring admitted MPA student who's currently working full-time. After going through his personal finances, Tom determined he needs additional financial assistance to help pay for school. He received a financial aid package offering the annual federal direct unsubsidized loan of $20,500, which may be less than his cost of attendance, but more than what he wants to accept to help him pay for his courses. For this reason, Tom decided to only accept $10,000 each year to strictly pay for those courses. $5,000 will disperse during the fall time, and $5,000 will disperse during the springtime.
Okay. And there's some contact information there at the end. Sorry, I had to close my text chat. So let me catch up on text chat, make sure that I didn't miss anything here. So let's see. Okay. What we usually try and do is we're very careful at attempting to keep the financial side and the academic sides of the house separately. And so here in the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration, we don't deal with a lot of the financial aid issues. We kind of leave that to the experts. And so that's why we usually refer you to the Office of Financial Aid for questions that you may have. I apologize for the gray box. That was obviously my text chat box I needed to close up, so took care of that. Okay, let's see. Any dates or deadlines available for financial aid? Jenny, do you want to chime in on any of these? Because Jenny, if anyone in the department knows more about financial aid than anyone else, it's going to be Jenny. She knows more about than I do. So.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Powell. Priority deadline for California is March 2nd. I went ahead and provided the link for the FAFSA website, you can still file now if you haven't done so. It's just the priority being the key word here is just because that's when the initial review does take place, and you can again file after that, but the award amount is what will be different depending on when you file, if you file after that date. So I've went ahead and provided the website for that, and you could file, go ahead and file now if you haven't done so already. And then once there, your application will be forwarded to the Office of Financial Aid, and then they'll be in contact with you again regarding the award amounts. And based on the presentation that Joanne Hahn, our financial aid liaison person here, provided, typically it's mainly different loan types that are usually what are awarded to our graduate students.
Thank you, Jenny. I see there's a question about making payments for class in terms of when you're registered, when the course begins. Jenny, you want to address that? You want to leave that to Matt?
Oh yeah, I'll leave that to Matt. But the other question, there is a school code that we have when filing for financial aid, and that code can be found on the FAFSA website. So as you're going through the application process, you'll be able to search for the school that you want to forward your financial aid application to, and they will provide you the school code on the website as you're going through the application process.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much, Jenny. And again, Jenny, as you can see, has more financial information than I do. Again, I try and handle the academic side, and I don't touch financial aid for obvious reasons. But so Jenny's a good contact. But really, for questions of financial aid, the Office of Financial Aid, Joanne Hahn, our liaison, really that's your best contact point, because they're the ones who do this on a daily basis. This video that we just showed, obviously the video of the entire session will make available for you. But Jenny, I think, have you already made the PowerPoint presentation available, or can we send that out?
Yeah, I can send that out to the students after the orientation, and I'll also provide the contact information for Office of Financial Aid and for Joanne Hahn as well, in case students will have questions. They can also reach out to them directly.
Great, perfect. Thank you very much, Jenny. Now we, there are always questions about financial aid, but there are also always questions about registration, because the registration process for the distance learning MPA program is obviously much different than what stateside students go through when they register for courses. So now, if I'd like to move on to a discussion of registration and enrollment, and I'll turn it over to Matt.
Great. Hey, welcome everybody. Good to meet you. It's so weird to do this virtually. I know we've been doing this for a couple of years, but I speak for Dave and myself and Jenny. We miss our bacon, having the in-person one. So we'll get back to you guys on the bacon. But yeah, as Dave said, I'm the program manager for this over at the CPI side. As you well aware, it's a joint program between the two colleges. So we're going to be processing your registrations for you every semester, and we're here to help out. We're here to cut through any red tape that you might have. Any questions you have about the program, you go ahead and let us know, because sometimes you'll receive emails from the university that don't apply to you. So if you ever have any questions about anything, just shoot me an email, Matt, does this apply to me or not? And we can go ahead and take it from there. Basically how I work is, and just before I go on, I'll touch about financial aid and how that works for this program. Those that are receiving financial aid will be registered into 2 classes each semester at the start of the semester, okay? As the financial aid thing was saying, the funds actually will not disperse until your second class starts, okay? So in this case, let's see, we have the second class. Let me pull this up. Bear with me.
It's
some dates here.
Well,
we have the first class is going to start in a couple of weeks, so we'll take care of your registrations for that. Again, just going back to speak about financial aid, those that are receiving financial aid, you will let me know that you're receiving financial aid. That way I can register you into both classes. at the beginning of a given semester. As you're well aware of, there's no aid in winter or spring or summer, pardon me. So any leftover funds, you might want to keep that for those terms. But basically how it works is the funds will not disperse until the second class begins. So in this case, your second class, PPA 555, public budgeting, doesn't begin until April 30th. So again, the funds will not disperse until that second class starts. So once the second class starts, the funds will disperse, everything will get sent to you. Like I said, any extra left over, you just want to hold on to that for future classes. So you might see something on your record, might indicate a hold. If you have financial aid, it probably will not. So don't even worry about that. Basically, it's kind of like a set it and forget it if you have financial aid. I register you at the beginning and boom. Beyond that, if students want to be registered into both classes at the same time, I can do that. If students want to register for one class at a time, I can do that too. What I'm going to need you guys to do is you can private chat me in this and just say, hey, I'll know who your name is because it comes up, but say, let me know, 1, if you're getting financial aid, 2, if you want to be registered into 2 classes at a time, even though you might not have aid, or 3, whether you just want to be registered into 1 class at a time. So once I get that together, next week, I'm going to go ahead and start processing registrations. Typically, I process registrations 1 week prior to the class. I start about 2 weeks out, but about 1 week prior to the class, I submit everyone's registration. So you guys are set by that midweek before the Saturday class begins. Once you guys are registered, there's a sample email Jenny has attached to the presentation that I send out. And it's got step-by-step of where you go to make payment, if you get financial aid, what you do, what you're not doing, it's not covered in winter and spring. It gives you information about that. So once I send out that email to you guys, then that's prompting you. If you don't have aid or some other third-party provider, then that tips you off. You're registered. You go ahead and need to pay for the class for that. Okay. Any questions beyond that? You can unmute yourself if you want to. If you have a question, we can just hear it now. Don't worry about the chat for this part. What I do need you guys to do is to individually chat me. Let me know how your registration, you want it to be processed moving forward. I keep track of that, and then I act accordingly for that. Again, Brian, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. You don't have to chat, buddy. For me, that's how I'm working anyway. Okay.
Oh, hey, good morning. This is Brian here. Just wanted to ask, is the course payment due at the beginning or at the end of the course?
Like everything, it's due at the beginning, Brian.
Okay.
So once you're registered, I notify that you're registered, you go into your account and go ahead and make payment for that class. If it's 1 class, you make payment for 1 class. If it's 2 classes, you make payment for both classes. Otherwise, you will be dropped by the university for non-payment, or have a financial hold on your account that might not enable you to access the class or access certain things at the university. Did I answer your question, Brian?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Anyone else? Like I said, we have questions. You can either raise your hand or just ask the question, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
Matt, I have a question. My name is Belen.
Yep.
So I'm actually going through tuition reimbursement from work. So is it possible so they allot us a certain amount each year. So is it possible for, say, one term to register for 1 class and then for the next one to register for 2 classes? Since you said
we just have to, exactly. And that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Belen. If anything does change, in terms of like you're not receiving aid in the next year, yeah, I need to be notified of that. Otherwise, I'm going to register you into both classes.
Okay.
Type of a thing. If you like she was saying, if she wants just 1 class and the next semester she wants both classes, not a problem. If you're in 2 classes, you're saying at the beginning now, hey, I want to be registered into 2 classes, but next semester or 3 semesters from now, you just want to be registered into 1, just shoot me an email. My information's there. Email's the best. You just shoot me and I update your record, and then I process accordingly on my end when it comes time for registration for that given semester.
Perfect. That was it. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Of course. Any other questions, please?
Hi, Matthew. This is Daria. I also have
Hello, Daria.
So when we get registered for the class, are we gonna have any additional fees besides the $1,500 per class, like the campus fees?
The only fee that you guys are going to incur are going to be a $5 ID fee, and that's a university fee that's put on there. So basically, each and that's just for each semester. So if you registered into one class, you'd be charged the $1,505. If you were registered into two classes, you would be charged $3,005. If you get registered one class at a time, your first class is going to be $1,505. When I register you for your second class, the bill would only be $1,500 because it's just a one-time fee. Now, what we've been coming across with the university, for whatever reason, even though the dates are in the system, they've been doing an automatic $25 late fee. I put that information in the enrollment email that I send you all, but keep in mind, any late fees, you're not paying those. So you could pay everything except for that $25 if you want to, but I work with our Student Services Center to make sure that those are all taken off within 24 to 48 hours of your registering. Again, it's like a glitch with the university. It never happened. It just started happening with the pandemic. It's the weirdest thing. So don't worry about that. But beyond that, yeah, there's no extra fees beyond that. Unless you want to go to the Student Health Center, unless you want to go to the gym, then there's a little extra fee for that. But beyond that, you guys are regular CSULB students, and I'll go into that after we answer some more of these registration questions.
Okay.
And my email address should be included in all the packet information. I saw that come up, but it's Matthew, 2 T's, .Reimers. My name's spelled out on my thing, REIMERS, at CSULB.edu. Like I said, Jenny has my information. She's provided to you all. You have it in the packet.
And I can email it again after orientation with all the other contact information.
Of course, of course. After that, any other questions? Yes, Jason.
Quick recap. If I accept financial aid, I need to let you know so you can register me in both 2 classes.
That's correct.
What if I do like a mixture of both? I take my own part of my own funds just for the first class hypothetically, and then apply the financial aid to future classes.
Then you just need to let me know once your financial aid kicks in.
And when you say register, this may be a silly question. When you say register for both classes, that doesn't mean that we're taking them both at the same time, does it?
You know, that is a silly. No, that's not. There's no silly question, Jason. There's no silly. No. These, as you can see, these are consecutive classes. They're not concurrent. So you take one class, it's 6 weeks. Then you get about a week break or so, depending on, you know, when it falls between winter or summer. You might get two weeks instead of 1 week, and then you get into your next class. So they're done consecutively, not at the same time. So just with aid, if you do receive aid, the financial aid, it needs to show that you're registered into both classes at the beginning of the term.
Okay.
That way they know you're receiving aid. And then when that second class starts, like we're saying, the second class is like April 28th or 30th, then your funds will be dispersed for that second class. Anything along the line, you change financial aid, you're not getting it, now you're getting it, let me know ASAP so I can update your record. That way when I process registrations, I'm processing them correctly.
Okay, absolutely. And once the once you're notified, and because by April 30th those will be the 2 classes, we won't be dropped before that for non-payment, would we?
Oh, no, because the system realizes that you're getting financial aid. And
Okay.
Funds don't disperse until you hit your 6 limit, 6 units. As they were saying, 4 units triggers that. But since you're only registered into 3 units in any given class, and it's only 1 class at a time, the funds don't disperse until that second class begins and your 6 units kick in. So yeah, you won't get anything saying you won't have access, things like that. It won't hinder you from doing that. That's why we need to know if you're financial aid or not.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
And however else you'd like to register, type of a situation. So
Okay,
great. Thank you. Good questions, Jason. Thank you. Of course. Anybody else?
Hi.
We'll go with the first high and then the second high, the male high, then the female high.
Oh, I didn't even say hi, but hi, Matthew. Travis speaking here.
Hey, Travis.
Is it possible to drop off like a check for the payment, or does it have to be via credit card?
No. You don't have to do a check. Actually, the university takes e-checks. you'll see that when you all have a chance. I don't know if it's available, but there's a email that I send out, templated email that has all that information. And part of that is included in there. So you'd be able to pay by an e-check actually.
All right, understood. Thanks.
Yeah, and I would say, if people can, I would say to pay with the e-check, because I believe the university charges a percentage
Yep.
for,
That's
yeah,
fine.
for using a card, which, So if I can use an e-check and it gets 0% on that, highly suggest you using that. That's why we put that in there. So you
Agreed.
guys, there's like a link and how to do it and things of that nature. So, but if you have any questions beyond that, I would say, yeah, if you're paying out of pocket, go ahead and do the e-check. And like I said, I'll let you guys know, you'll get an email. Hey, you're confirmed. This is your registration. These are the classes, and then information on payments and such.
Understood. Thanks, Matthew.
Beautiful, of course. And the next hello, please.
Matthew, thank you so much for explaining this, and I apologize for the redundancy in the question.
No,
So-
it's good to have redundancy actually.
My first question is, it sounds like you have the opportunity to just register for one class, and I was under the impression that as a cohort, you work through the process together, and there's set classes that you must take in order to finish by a certain time.
That is 100% correct.
Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. Then the second question is, for those of us that do not have financial aid, that are having to pay for this upfront, what you need from us is to send you a private message letting you know that we're self-pay and to register us for 2 classes. Is that correct?
If that's what you, no, you're always going to be registered for both classes of the semester. It's just that since the classes are consecutively and not at the same time concurrently, if individuals who pay out of pocket, some individuals just want to get it off. They want to pay for the whole $3,000, the tuition right off the bat. There's some individuals like myself that would pay one class at a time.
That
Okay.
makes perfect sense. Gotcha.
So yeah, if you only want one class at a time, I'm only going to register that individual into their first spring class or their first fall class. Then when it gets closer, I'm notified when that, I have it in my system. I know when the next class comes up, your second class. A week prior to that, I get with those individuals and I say, okay, now I just registered into your second class, and it's the same process. So you're just only being registered and paying into one class at a time if you want to. It's
That
just an
makes
option we
perfect
give.
sense.
Yeah, if you want to do both, and do both, let me know and we can do both. If you just want one class at a time, you're not going to miss any classes. You're not going to not be enrolled into a class and miss out and lose your spot in the cohort and things of that nature. That will not happen. That will not happen.
Gotcha.
To add to that, your schedule that I've emailed you guys is what everybody here will move together and take at the same time and take together. What Matt is just sharing with you right now is just how you want to register for the classes, but regardless, everybody will be taking them. How you pay for it and how many you will be enrolled in is what is Matt clarifying.
It's up to you guys. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Jenny. Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Any other questions, guys, about registration or the process or how it's going to be done?
I have one more question, sorry.
Oh, no,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Sorry. If for whatever reason we don't pay or something and we didn't notice, and then the class gets dropped and we notice it afterwards, right? Like right at the same day of the start of the class, is it possible to get back in it and pay it that same day? And I'm just talking about like worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that's worst case scenario. Most likely you're not going to get dropped. I think the university started a system. I know our students typically kind of behind the scenes, you weren't dropped. What you'll have is a hold on your account, which may prevent you from certain things. But access to class, you won't have a problem. Chad Harris is here, works with our ATS group, would be able to get you quick access to that if needed. So that's this worst case scenario means just communication.
Yeah, okay.
If you will. It's just letting me know. You need to let Jenny and I know about anything that comes up, and that's a good point. I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the things I like to hit on. It's all about communication. The sooner we know about an issue, a situation, whatever it is, we're able to help, because we're working against deadlines that the university puts on us that we want to make sure we hit, type of thing, depending on what the situation is. But the sooner we know about something, the sooner we can help out and get things set for you. So like I said, there's always going to be a worst case scenario thing, but yeah, don't worry about that. You're not going to get dropped. It hasn't happened yet in any of my cohorts that I've been doing, and I've been with the program for about 10 years or more. So the registration is probably, it's the easiest part. You guys don't have to do anything. I'm doing everything for you guys.
Yeah.
So
And to add to that, Matt, in that worst case scenario, just to elaborate, like what Matt is saying, that because he's coordinating your registration for you, and because you guys are in a cohort, these classes are assigned just for you guys, just for cohort 22. So permission to is required, or consent is required, and that's where Matt comes in, because he's going to be enrolling you. So you won't, like Matt said, won't have to worry about being dropped, because the class isn't open per se, like other classes where people are trying to enroll in the class, because they won't have access to it, one. And so again, the other thing is that permission is required, and that's where Matt comes in, because he will be permitting you and registering you essentially into the class. The worst case though, is if something was to happen, would just be the hold. And to elaborate on that, that might be you trying to, what Matt touched on earlier, if you're trying to access the Student Recreation Wellness Center, if you're trying to access your transcripts or something else, on your student account, there might be a hold in that. And you won't be able to access that, those features until the payment is taken care of.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank
thank
you.
you, Jenny. Thank you, guys. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I'm not actually.
Sorry,
I have a question, or I want to. I had another student message me about a payment plan. If you, as an option, if you could clarify, if that's
Of course.
for students, yeah.
Of course, yeah. If there is an option of a payment plan per se, if you're approved for it, but with our Student Services Center, there's basically it's a payment plan. You just contact them. I forget the exact parameters of that. I think you pay like 50% up front and then 25 throughout the course, the duration of the course itself. So if that's something that you're interested in, just let me know, and I can note that and then get you in contact with the payment plan individuals that you need to contact once you're registered. Once you're registered, you just email payment plan cpi@paymentplans.com, and basically let them know who you are, your ID, the classes, and that you'd like to be put on a payment plan. I have to approve you to be put on a payment plan. So if you are interested, let me know that as well in the chat. But beyond that, it's typically not needed, but if needed, let me know, and we'll get you in contact with the right people at my offices for that. Okay.
Sorry, I had a quick question. So if we're taking out loans, what would be the correct process as far as like registering? So it would be contact you, like you mentioned, to register through the courses, or is it automatically just going to disperse?
Okay, so you let me know that you're receiving financial aid, okay?
I just didn't know if financial aid would be considered student loans. I didn't know if it was additional
That's
financial.
exactly, that's student loans, financial aid, they're pretty intermingled terms, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to verify. So I would contact you personally to let you know.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, I need to know how you're going to be registering payment-wise, whether it's
Sounds-
financial aid, one class at a time or two classes at a time. Again, just to go over financial aid, if you are financial aid, you're registered into both classes for a given semester. That way, the university knows that you're getting that. There's no hold put on your account. Then once the second class begins, in this case, April 30th, your funds will be dispersed.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
So yeah, it's kind of like a set it and forget it.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anybody else, guys? I'm not sure the parameters of the payment plan. I don't deal with that personally. I don't think Anderson is here today, unfortunately, from my office. Anderson, are you here? And that's a no. So don't worry about that. If you're interested, like you said, you guys have my email. You can email me anything any questions you have beyond this. Jenny as well. Email I work fastest with. But if you guys are doing that in the chat, what I've asked for, by the end of this orientation, I should have everything set, other than the individuals that weren't able to make it today.
Yeah, hi, Matt. Last question I wanted to ask, would you be the best person to help for proof of enrollment into the course or the university?
Yes, what we call them verification letters of enrollment. And if that's something you need, we can set that up as well and provide you with a verification letter as needed. We can break down the cost for you, what classes you're registering into for that given semester, not a problem. Whenever you need them, typically most of them are done at the end of the semester. Some want them after they registered for the class. So it's all dependent on you. You can just email me and ask me, hey, Matt, I need a verification letter, and I can get that out to you too. Sweet.
Matt, I had another question regarding tuition reimbursement letters. And
yeah, same thing, verification.
So yeah, if any of you are seeking a fee waiver through your respective employers, and once the class is over, just be sure to contact Matt, and he can assist you with the tuition reimbursement letter.
Yep. Thank you, Jenny.
Welcome. Any other questions?
Any other questions, guys?
Okay.
We have all righty. And just before I go, well, I'm still going to be here, but before I do my part of my spiel, just want to let you guys know, you guys are Cal State Long Beach students. You can get an ID card. You can go to the ID card services, get an ID card. If you want a picture on it, you go to the ID card services. If you're fine with just having an ID card with your campus ID number on there, that's fine as well. That's something you can request through myself or Jenny. You can go through me, say, hey, Matt, I want a pictureless ID card, and we can get one from the bookstore for you and get that sent out to you. Otherwise, if you want to come and get an ID card yourself, you can, with your picture, you can come down to the bookstore and you can go in and process that as well yourself. But anything, you're a regular student here, all the amenities to the campus students, the stateside students are the same to us. We're students, we're Cal State Long Beach students. Some things are a little bit different in terms of paying, like the health services fees, because all the stateside students get those fees tacked on at the beginning. This way, when someone was asking, are there any other fees? There's no other fees other than the $5 ID card services. So beyond that, I just wanted to let you guys know you are Cal State Long Beach students. The degree will say Cal State Long Beach on it, like everyone else. So you guys are all set with that. But the biggest thing is going to be for me is communication. Anything you guys need, anything, you have any issues, you need to jump over a hurdle, you have questions, you need clarification, just email me and we'll go ahead and tackle it together. Okay, guys?
And yeah, to add to that, Matt, and I'll also email the students who do want a picture, a photo ID of their ID card on the ID card services, because I believe right now they're actually, you have to make an appointment before you go.
Okay, and then you can set that up. Yeah, they want a pictureless. Let me know a list of the pictureless ones, Jenny, and I can order those through our Student Services Center. But yeah, any picture ones, you can send out the how-tos in this day and age. Thank you, Jenny, so much.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, guys. It was nice meeting you all. And again, any questions or anything, that's what we're here for, okay? That's what I'm here for, is to run through that red tape, get over those hurdles for you, answer any questions of clarification, and meet any needs that you might have, okay? We're all working adults. We have other things to worry about than some petty little things. That's what I'm here to do with regards to that, okay, guys? Have a good one. I'll be here, so if you have any questions, let me know. Just shoot me a chat straight up between me, and I'll go ahead and try to answer before the end of the session. All right.
Thanks, Matt.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Matt. Well done. I'll just underscore something Matt said. Great information from Matt. One thing I'll underscore is his point on communication. He's exactly right. Communication is imperative. And so if you have any issues in terms of your enrollment in the class or maintaining your registration in the class, anything going on like that, you need to let Matt know, and also Jenny. You need to really loop Matt and Jenny in on it. If you do have any academic issues in your class, let me know. I handle the academic issues, and always CC Jenny, because Jenny and I work very closely in the DL program. So it's always good to have us looped in on any issues that come up. And the one thing about this program is the tuition in this program has remained constant since, I think, 2005, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but And we've kept the tuition the same for about 17 years now. And so that's something that we're committed to, at least in the department, and that's something we've been able to do. So, okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Matt. At this time, let's go ahead and talk about some of the technical aspects of the program. As you probably already know, your weekly sessions, your weekly class sessions will be held on Wednesday evenings beginning at 6 o'clock. Those will be conducted through Zoom. And then we also use Beachboard throughout the week for discussion board assignments as well. So the Zoom is a live, synchronous, interactive class sessions you'll have on Wednesday evenings. And then Beachboard, you'll use Beachboard then for your asynchronous discussion board posts. You'll also submit all your assignments through Beachboard using the Dropbox feature. Your grades will be posted through Beachboard as well. So Beachboard for us is a little bit more the asynchronous, and Zoom will be your synchronous Wednesday evening class sessions. But let me go ahead and turn it over to the expert, Chad, who will talk to you through Zoom and Beachboard. And Chad made you a co-host just in case you need that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let me, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to talk about Zoom first. All right. And it's a bit difficult to talk about Zoom when you're actually running a Zoom meeting. So I'm going to have to show you some images on a PDF for you. That most of this should be fairly recognizable to you. A lot of you have been using Zoom, I believe. So can you all see my screen? Can you see the Zoom logo right here?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So so obviously you've entered this Zoom meeting, so you're a little bit familiar with Zoom. I just wanted to point out some things that you might not realize as you're going through, and some of you may not be as familiar with some of these functions. But first of all, accessing a Zoom meeting you can do in a couple of different ways. Your professor may simply include a link that's specific to that meeting, and they also maybe have put a link within the Beachboard course. So there are different ways that you can access this, but one of the first things I want to show you is actually the My Apps. When you first log in to your My Apps through the university using your university account, you'll get to your My Apps page. When you access Zoom this way, this ensures that you're using your CSULB account. So you all have a CSULB Zoom account associated with. So you may have used Zoom at another university or in another capacity. Maybe you have a personal account. Those are different. You want to make sure that when you're accessing your classes, that you go through your CSULB account, because that may affect how you can get in. Some Zoom meetings for your classes are restricted to registered students. So if you have trouble entering a class, that might be one of the reasons that you're not actually signed in on your own account. So make sure you go through the SSO sign-in process. This is also where you access Beachboard, which I'll get to in a minute. I want to show you a couple more things about Zoom first, make sure I show you everything. Okay. All right, so anyway, so different ways of accessing Zoom. You can also access Zoom through your client. The way Zoom works is it downloads, there's a web part of Zoom. So if you'll have a web-based account that looks a little bit like this, okay? But the way Zoom works is that it also downloads an app onto your machine, onto your computer. That's called the desktop client, maybe refer to that. And so you would download that at this address right here, okay? And you may already have this on your computer, all right? But I just wanted to show one other thing that for troubleshooting is if you're having trouble with Zoom, if you go to your desktop client, if you open this as an app on your machine, you'll see your profile here. If you click on that profile, you can check for updates. Sometimes this is also a good way of troubleshooting any kind of Zoom issues that you're having getting into your classes. Okay, because Zoom really does push updates a lot. Okay, so let's see. So there's the download. You can go to the download center and download that client if you haven't already done so. Okay. Different ways of joining meetings on your desktop client. You might see these buttons as well, and a sign-in button. But if you make sure you go, if you're already signed in through your SSO, you'll also on your desktop client, you'll see a button that says sign in with SSO. If you're already signed in here, then if you click that sign in with the SSO button, you'll automatically be signed in with your CSULB account. Okay, so just be aware of all these different ways of entering a Zoom meeting. Okay, and then let's see, you'll usually get this screen pop up right before a meeting starts to ask you to join with your computer audio and stuff. And then I'm going to show you a way to test your speaker. So this is that's Sabrina. She's a lead instructional designer at ATS, and she created this little screenshot for you. This is what you should be seeing now. You may not see this menu item unless you hover your mouse over it. Sometimes that's locked, sometimes that isn't. So if you move your mouse down, you're going to see some of these features. If you click on these little arrows, little caret arrows next to the microphone and the camera, that's where you can adjust settings. Okay. If you go to the microphone settings, you can adjust whether you're using your headphones and test the sound and so on right before a meeting starts. That's always a good idea. Let's see what else. This will, obviously you'll see meeting attendees up here. You can actually change this view by going to the view icon up here, and you can change the layout of where you see a lot of this stuff. This is where you see participants. Are you all seeing my mouse? Can you see where I'm pointing? Good. Okay. Anything else? If the Zoom host gives you permission, you can actually share your screen. So you may be in a course where you're required to give some kind of presentation on Zoom, and that's where you would share your screen. When you pop that up, you have the choice of sharing a screen, or you can share different apps. So just make sure you're sharing the right thing when you share. It gives you different choices of what to share. You can, if you have a PowerPoint open, you can actually just share the PowerPoint, or you can add, if you have two screens, you can share another screen. Oh, and then I suggest going to reactions. So all of you, if you go there right now and click the reactions button, you'll see a little icon to raise your hand. So why don't you test that right now and raise your hand if you have taken a course at CSULB and are familiar with Beachboard and the LMS. Go ahead and raise your hand if you've actually used the LMS called Beachboard at CSULB. And let me know if you're having trouble finding those reactions. Okay, so far only two. Okay. All right, how about raising your hand if you are familiar with an LMS at another institution, say they were using Canvas or Blackboard or something like that. Go ahead and raise your hand. Okay. Oh, good, a lot of you, good, okay. All right, so I wanted to point that out because, that's a good way of participating in class and asking questions. All right, if you're in a Zoom meeting for your classes, your instructor may have you participate. Okay, so that's all with Zoom. I don't want to take too much time yet. Any questions about Zoom so far? Go ahead and turn that hand off if you don't have a question. That hand has to be toggled on and off manually. The other reactions will stay up for a period of time and then go away. The hand stays raised until someone calls. Okay. Any other questions about Zoom? I'm going to go quickly to Beachboard then. So again, I showed you how to log in with through your SSO to Beachboard. Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Question. Oh no, that's okay. There was just a question on the chat, but I just thought maybe you could also elaborate if needed. That to be clear, Zoom is accessible through smartphones, through tablets, as long as you download the Zoom app. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you go to the email address that I showed you, and you could download the client, and it needs to be downloaded, for each of those devices that you use.
Okay. And then just have the student log in if they're accessing it on their phone or tablet, just have them log in with their student credentials.
Yes, exactly. So it's good. The same goes if you're using a tablet, your iPhone or whatever. You should be logged in through the CSULB, or if you may not be recognized as a student when trying to get into your class.
Right.
It's a good question.
right? They'll get charged for the services.
Oh, I don't know if you'll get charged. I'm not sure about that. You just won't be able to get in. You'll get an error message.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? It's hard for me sometimes when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see hands and everything. So just go ahead and interrupt me if you need to ask me any more questions. Let's see. Okay, good. All right. So once you go through, you click on Beachboard. That's how you'll get into the LMS, and it'll recognize you as a student once you're logged in here. Okay. This is what your landing page will look like. It's kind of a basic account page. You'll see these, what we call widgets. And this My Courses widget, you'll see your courses here that you're signed up for. You'll see a lot for me because I'm an administrator, so I have access to all courses, but you'll see the courses that you are enrolled in. Another way to find courses is through this, what we call a waffle. Okay, you can search for your course here, and usually you'll see your courses listed here. Of course, I have a lot because I can access everyone's course, but you'll see just the courses that you're enrolled in. Okay, if you do not see your course on here, and you know that you're enrolled in it, make sure you contact us and we can check your account on the Beachboard side and make sure that everything's okay. Okay. Let's see. So that's your course home. Let me go into the course itself. So I can find the PPA 500 course. This will be your first course, I believe. Correct. This is what we call the course homepage. Whenever you come into a course, it lands on what we call a course home, and this is where you'll see different widgets, like a news widget for announcements from your instructor. You may see a calendar of dates and so on. You will, this is what we call the nav bar, okay, of your course. Most of the content for your course will be in this content area. Okay, so that will be kind of your first stop, and this is what it would look like. Okay, and all your content should be lined up down here in terms of, papers, assignments, and things like that. Sometimes instructors build their own courses. So we don't build them for them. So courses will look a little bit different depending on which course you're taking. Sometimes you will be accessing different content through either the Dropbox, which are all your assignments, they're graded assignments, and it looks like in this course, this is where all your assignments are. Sometimes professors will actually link them through the content area, and you never have to visit these other areas like Dropbox and quizzes and discussions. Okay, but then sometimes you will need, if you need to turn in an assignment, you will need to go to the Dropbox or go to your discussion boards. Here's where all your discussions are listed. And here is where all your quizzes. So you can access all that content through these items as well. The most important, of course, that you'll want to access are your grades. This is what your grade book will look like. Your grades will be posted here. Okay. If you don't see a grade, make sure you contact your instructor. They have the ability to kind of make these visible, and sometimes they're defaulted to invisible, and an instructor may need reminding to turn those on. Okay. All right, and then one last thing I wanted to show you is your access to the Solace course. I think you're all enrolled in what we call our Student Online Learning Success course, okay? And this course is designed especially for your department. And here's where you can find, this is more of a self-paced training. So this goes into more depth of what I've been talking about in terms of Beachboard and your access, okay? And so you can step through a lot of these. We have a getting started, and there's these different topics that you can step through and learn a little bit more about Beachboard. And then one other thing I wanted to show you really quickly, and this is really useful for students. When you're in Beachboard, whether you're on your homepage or within a course, if you go to your icon here, all right, and your profile image, go to notifications. This is a really important tool for students. If you go in and turn on these notifications, you can get notifications from your courses, whether your instructor has emailed you or posted an announcement, or whether any kind of content or discussions have been updated. This is a really useful tool for students. They're not automatically turned on. So it's a good idea to go here, turn on your notifications so that you get notifications for your classes, whether something's due, a discussion post, or anything like that. So that keeps you engaged with your course, all right? So that's a lot of things, but I think I covered everything. Is there anything that, David, that you feel I didn't cover that I missed?
No, I think that's perfect. You covered it all.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, Chad. I had a question. In terms of communicating with the instructor, will it be done through Beachboard or is it still best done via email?
That's a really good question, and it depends on the instructor. You want to use your CSULB email for all correspondence with your instructor. Okay, that preserves your privacy in terms of your class content. So don't use a personal email. Try to always use your CSULB email. But it depends on your instructor. Your instructor may have a link posted right on the homepage for their email. They also may have a question and answer discussion. Those are in a lot of our course templates. So it really just depends on your instructor. Make sure your instructor is clear about that at the beginning of the class. They should communicate to you all their communication expectations, how to reach them, and so on. So it really depends. But the best way would be, yes, their email. So all instructors are going to have a CSULB email. You have your email account, and it is probably the best way to reach them.
Okay.
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I also
Quick
want to
question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Do we have to activate our Beachboard account?
No, when you get your first login, when you first log into that SSO to your My Apps page, and you click on that Beachboard chiclet, that automatically creates your account, or your account is automatically pushed to Beachboard from the student information system, from your registrar. So no, you don't have to go in and manually sign up for anything. Let's see, I wanted to also post the link for our Academic Technology Services website. I'll put that in chat. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any issues or problems, you're having trouble with Zoom or Beachboard. We're also there. We have a weekday hotline. That's actually an open Zoom room. It's called our virtual support room. There's a link on that page, and we're open 5 days a week, 9 to 5, to just pop in if ever you have any issues, like with your Respondus browser, if you're taking an online test or anything like that. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us on those weekdays. You can also email us 24/7. All right. Just no other questions.
Sorry, one more question.
Sure. Yeah.
I remember the email instructions was sent via email, but what would be the quickest way to get the information for your login and the credentials?
You mean for when you first log into the university?
Yeah.
Your SSO account?
Yeah.
That you get through your registrar. And David, you may have to answer that question. That's not through our department. That's through your student services, through your account. So can you remind David how they get their first login information, their first email?
Yeah, Jenny, are you aware of that? The first login?
The first login for Beachboard for the course or for Beachboard?
Beachboard.
He's asking about the first. Oh, for Beachboard?
Yeah, no. So when sorry, because there's also a question in the chat, and I just want to clarify. So when you register in terms of the class, just to be clear, once Matt has successfully registered you guys for your course, you will have access to the course on Beachboard, if that makes sense. In terms of having access to Beachboard in general, once you've created your campus ID and activated your student account, you should have access. You should have access to that. If you haven't done that yet, I will send you guys email. I'm working on that right now with the link to with instructions on how to activate your campus ID and campus information. Does that make sense? Because to have access to Beachboard is given once your student account is activated, but then once you're registered for a course, to have access to that course via Beachboard will happen once you've been registered. I hope that That makes sense. Okay, but I'll just send you guys
Thank you,
the
Jenny.
to activate that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Also, I just wanted to add one quick thing. There was like an email that's automated to you from CSDLB with your email address, and so you can use that to sign in.
Yes, right. Once you guys were officially admitted and your admission was processed, yes, there should have been like a default, like automated email that the enrollment service has generated and sent to you guys with that information as well. Thank you.
And this is Matt Reimers to put in with regards to financial aid. I had see something in the chat. Taylor, you had asked about you will be receiving aid. So I just want to explain how the aid works is because in your question you ask if you would like to only enroll in one class to start. But if you're receiving aid, if you are receiving aid, I'm going to automatically register you into both classes in a given semester. And you should reflect that. You need to be shown in the system at the start that you're registered into 6 classes. The funds won't disperse until that second class or the 6 units kick in. So you will need to be registered into both classes. Nothing comes out of pocket for you. You have financial aid. Was I able to answer that, Taylor?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you are receiving aid?
Yes.
And I'll put that in there. So yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna.
I think I was a little confused, sorry.
No. That's why we're here. We want to make sure there's no confusion. So yeah, you have aid. People with aid is pretty much like sit and forget it. You know, you just let me add aid. I know I'm registering you to 2 classes every term to start it off. Okay, so that, and then I just want to, to cut in, sorry guys, I had another question about from billing. You had said you'll be receiving financial aid, obviously 2 classes. You need an enrollment verification letter that states 2 courses you're registered in for the course, the description of each course costs, and all that stuff. You said you needed to turn this into your HR department by February 20th?
Yeah, they're a little strict about deadlines. They want it before to have like a copy of it, and then afterwards I have to submit another enrollment verification. So they're asking for like the beginning to the end.
Okay, well, let me speak offline with you about that because I don't want to take up more time for this, and I just want to explain the process and make sure I'm understanding you correctly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna instant chat you with my phone number. If you could call me after this so we can.
Yeah, no problem.
Decide, because it isn't as okay. Great, thank you. That was it for me. And anyone else? I've already taken down everybody so far that's responded. How they would like to pay. There's still a lot that haven't responded yet. So you can let me know by the end of this session. That'd be awesome. If not, we'll figure it out on Monday.
Thank you, Matt. And thank you, Chad. Very helpful information. And we for the past 2 years, we've been using Zoom for our Saturday sessions as well. So as you know, each of our courses is 6 weeks in length. And your first session will be on that first Saturday and the Saturday morning from 9 until usually noon or however long the instructor wants to keep you there. In the past, we used to do those on campus. Over the past 2 years, we've been doing all those Saturday sessions through Zoom. We're going to continue using Zoom for those Saturday sessions because I know some people joined the cohort with the assumption that everything would be done on Zoom. So we're going to keep, there's a question text chat. Would Zoom be used throughout the duration of the program? The answer is yes. We're going to keep using Zoom. So you have Zoom for your Saturday morning sessions as well as for your Wednesday evening sessions at 6 o'clock. Okay.
Steve, I had a question, sorry, from a student.
Go ahead.
Is there any foresight into us, obviously once the university and the higher ups say so, but is there any foresight into us the students returning to campus on Saturdays for those classes on Saturdays?
Yeah, I think right now we're planning on keeping those on Zoom. I think because again, everyone joined the cohort kind of on the assumption, well, Saturday sessions are going to be done on Zoom. And so no, I don't want to impose a burden on folks who are expecting to be doing Saturday on Zoom and then suddenly say, well, you got to come to campus on Saturdays. So I think the expectation is we're going to keep staying with Zoom for those Saturday sessions.
Okay.
And Jenny's right, the university is beginning to repopulate. We have, for our stateside program, we have a small percentage, but a percentage of classes that are back on campus for the spring semester. I'm sure for next fall, it's going to be very close to normal operating procedure for our stateside courses. And so campus is open and it's continuing to open up, but I think we're going to keep utilizing Zoom. Okay, very good. Again, if you have a specific questions about how individual instructors are using Beachboard or Zoom, you can contact your instructor. As Chad said, instructors will differ a bit. We really do believe a lot in academic freedom, and so we want to allow our instructors to have the freedom to teach their courses the way that they see fit, while still covering all the core concepts and remaining in compliance with our NASPA accreditation requirements. So different instructors will operate differently. I saw that Professor Berg provided for you the link in an announcement on the Beachboard site. I tend to do the same thing. I usually reach out to my classes in advance with an email invitation with the link as well. So you've got that link in a couple of different places. And that's typically the way in which instructors will do it. In terms of the use of Beachboard, again, it's going to vary depending upon instructor. As Chad said, a lot of instructors put most of the materials you need for the course under the content tab, and that's where you're usually going to find the PowerPoint slides that are used for your weekly Zoom sessions. That's where you're going to find important documents. And so I do a midterm and final assessment in my class, and I provide those under the content area. Usually that information is going to then be organized according to the week of the class, and so it'll help you have those documents before you go into your weekly Zoom session. That's how most instructors will do it. And I'll talk in a few minutes a little bit more about expectations you can have for your instructors as you go through the program. So let's see, I know that there are some questions in text chat, I believe. It's a question from Brian: would there be an on-campus office hours with faculty or done online? It depends on the faculty member. We have a lot of faculty members in the distance learning program who are also nucleus faculty for the on-campus program. And I think of the 13 courses that you'll be doing in this program, I believe 9 of them are taught by on-campus faculty. So those on-campus faculty will have some on-campus office hours that you can utilize. Sometimes our distance learning only faculty, they will do their discussions through either email or through creating a Zoom session. So always reach out to your instructor via email if you want to meet with them, and they can arrange the way in which they want to meet with you. So it's kind of a combination of on-campus as well as doing it through Zoom or even through email. Okay. Did I miss anything in chat, Jenny? Do you see anything else I missed?
No.
Good.
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Okay, then let's move ahead. And again, if you have questions along the way, feel free to ask them. But we'll move ahead and start talking about your PPA 500 course, your first course in the program, as well as the program itself. And we'll talk about the design of the program, the history of the program, accreditation and what accreditation means to you as a student in a nationally accredited program, and talk about all those good things. I don't know, is Dina, are you with us, Professor Berg? I don't think you are. I don't think Professor Berg is with us right now. So what I'll do, let me go ahead, I'll share my screen, and I've got a presentation for you. We'll go through very quickly, talking about the program and again, some of the key elements of the program. And then if Professor Berg's not going to be able to be with us today, that's fine. I will go ahead and also discuss with you the PPA 500 class and kind of tell you how the course works and some of the features of the course. So let me just pull up my presentation and we can move ahead. Okay. Give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. Let me share this with you. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it a little better. Okay, can everyone see that? Hopefully, you see MPA Distance Learning Cohort 22?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, let's just go through again the elements of the program, give you a little history and who's involved in the program and all that good stuff. So this is a PDF, so it's a little clunky, but the program's been around for a long time. The program has been around, at least the Graduate Center has been around since 1973, was when it was first founded. So the way in which it works, as I had said earlier, is we have a Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration. That Graduate Center then provides both the distance learning program as well as a stateside program. The state-supported MPA program has been around since 1973. This distance learning program was created in 1997. So it was created about 4 years before I arrived on campus. So it's one of the oldest distance learning MPA programs in the entire country. Both this distance learning MPA program as well as the stateside program, they are both accredited nationally by this organization known as the Network of Schools for Public Policy, Affairs, and Administration. So the question is, why is that important? It's important because the majority of distance learning MPA programs are not NASPA accredited. So it's not the norm to have a NASPA accredited distance learning program. It's also important because NASPA, before it will accredit a program, NASPA requires that that program convey certain competencies to students, so that when students leave the program, students have acquired certain competencies so that you know they came out of a NASPA program. So there are certain things that you will leave the program knowing because we are an accredited program. And actually, let me, this is a little clunky, so let me do it this way. See if this is a little bit better. Let's see if I can move this down. All right, we'll just do it this way. In fact, let me reshare this, make it work a little bit better. So it's not quite as clunky, hopefully. Yeah, it's still clunky. All right. Let's do it this way. Okay. It's important for us to know the mission statement as well. You know, this is something NASPA is very concerned about, is that all programs have a mission statement and that everything the program does is guided by that mission statement. And so this is your first real exposure to the MPA program. And so it's important that you know what our mission statement is. The mission of the MPA program, the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration, is to educate and graduate a diverse student population with the professional competencies necessary for leadership, policy, and management roles in the public service and in community-based nonprofit organizations, both within the Los Angeles metropolitan area and the nation. Through the promotion of excellence in professional public service, research, and education, the center is an active partner with the public and nonprofit agencies within its service area. We do maintain a very close connection between the academic side and the practitioner side. The entire goal of the program is to present you with concepts and theories and skills, but not just present you with those skills and to have you acquire those skills, but to understand how to use those skills in the public sector. So in this program, we're always looking for that nexus between theory and application. And in all your classes, we will emphasize that nexus with the assignments that we use in each and every class. So you will see the mission statement again and again throughout your time in the program, so you will become very familiar with it. In addition to our mission statement, we also have certain program values that we emphasize as a program. Enhancing diversity in our faculty and student population, embracing diversity in our teaching, promoting the public interest, promotion of ethical behavior, promotion of integrity in public service, promotion of the social justice principle, and the acquisition of professional competence. These are values that underpin all the courses that are offered in our distance learning program, as well as our state-supported on-campus program. And Matt had mentioned to you earlier that the degree you are getting in this distance learning MPA program is indistinguishable from the degree that people in the on-campus program earn. So whenever you get your degree will be a Master's of Public Administration degree from the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration. It will be the exact same degree and look as the exact same degree as what people in the stateside program got. We have similar admission requirements. The admission requirements are a little stiffer here in the distance learning program than they are for the stateside program. And it's a commentary on you and your experience and background that you were admitted to this program, because those expectations are higher for this program. but the core courses are the same. The elective courses that are selected for you here in the distance learning program, those are courses that are also offered as electives in the on-campus program. And as we said, 9 of your 13 courses are offered by full-time nucleus faculty who teach in the on-campus program. Of your other 4 courses, 3 of those 4 courses are taught by adjunct faculty who also teach in the on-campus program as well. So I believe you only have 1 course that's taught by a distance learning only faculty member. So that's a requirement of accreditation, is that we keep the 2 programs as equivalent as possible across all aspects of the program, if you will. We have a very interdisciplinary faculty. Again, as I said, 9 of your courses will be taught by full-time resident campus faculty. The vast majority of your instructors hold a PhD. We have an interdisciplinary faculty, so our PhDs are in different areas. We have a few political scientists, including myself. We have folks with their doctoral degrees in public administration. We have 1 economist who is not currently teaching in the distance learning program. And then we have someone with their PhD from Minnesota in organization behavior and theory. And that is someone who you'll have in 2 of your courses throughout your time in the DL program. Again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to just go ahead and chime in and ask them along the way. So the distance learning MPA program is a 39 unit requirement, exact same requirement as the on-campus program. You have core courses. Your first core course is PPA 500 Foundations with Professor Berg. Professor Berg has been teaching the program for many years. She's an expert primarily in nonprofit management and is a leader in the nonprofit sector. Been teaching PPA 500 in the distance learning program for the past several cohorts. Does an amazing job, very responsive. You're really going to enjoy having Professor Berg for your first course. Then you also have PPA 555 Public Budgeting and Finance, and that's taught by Dr. Scott Williams. Dr. Williams is a finance director. He also has his doctoral degree in public administration, does an outstanding job in that course. PPA 577 Human Resource Management, taught by Dr. Ed Martin. Dr. Martin is a full-time nucleus faculty member in the Graduate Center. You had the misfortune of having me for PPA 660 Organization Theory. Again, you know, I'm full-time, been here for 21 years. PPA 670 Policy Analysis, Dr. Matthews will offer that course for you. She is, again, a full-time faculty member and the current graduate advisor for our stateside program. PPA 696 Research Methods, which really is taught as program evaluation. We call it research methods, but we really teach it as program evaluation. That's taught by Dr. Adam Butts. He is our current interim department chair for this year in the Graduate Center. And then for your directed research courses, this may change a little bit, but for right now, your 1 section of directed research will be taught by Dr. Butts, and your other section of directed research will be taught by me. Now, the way in which 697 works is you have to complete 2 sections of 697. They will run consecutively because, as you know, in this program, you never have concurrent courses. They're always consecutive, so you're only taking 1 course at a time. In PPA 697 Directed Research, you will be completing a series of 5 case studies. Those 5 case studies, 1 will be in budgeting, 1 in human resources, 1 in organization theory, 1 in policy, 1 in research methods. And so you'll just be completing those 5 case studies essentially for your PPA 697 Directed Research courses. So 2 sections of those. The way in which those courses work is you'll just be doing your case studies. So there are no scheduled meetings for those courses. It's all done on an independent completion type of basis. So those are your core required classes. Then in this program, we have what we call pre-selected electives. Now, obviously, since we are a lockstep cohort-based program, everyone takes the same courses and takes all the same courses together at the same time. So we can't have folks taking courses all over the place. So we pre-select your elective courses. The courses that we've been offering as pre-selected electives over the past several cohorts are PPA 570 Negotiating Dynamics. It was typically taught by Dr. Ed Caprillion. He's been on leave, and so Professor Phil Gonchak has stepped in to offer that course. PPA 610 Urban Affairs. It's important since we are in an urban setting that you have an urban affairs course taught by Dr. Ed Martin, the same Ed Martin who teaches your 577 Human Resource course. Intergovernmental Relations, which is taught by me. The 512 Urban Executive Management, taught by Professor David Armijo, who is a graduate of the program, but also an accomplished administrator, works primarily in the public transit field and has run the public transit system in Tampa, Florida, and in New Mexico, and up in San Francisco. So has a great amount of executive management experience in the public sector. And then grants administration offered by Dr. Matthews again. So there are some instructors that you'll have a couple of times in the program. All the instructors in your program, it's important to note, have all taught in the program before. They're all familiar with how the program works, and so it's not their first time at the rodeo, as we say. Okay. So how's the program delivered? As we know, it is this hybrid blended type of program. We're doing our Saturday sessions on Zoom. So you'll start each course with a Saturday session from 9 to noon again, and then you'll have a Saturday session at the end of the course again from 9 to noon. So we kind of bookend the courses with those Saturday sessions. Now, different instructors will use those sessions a little bit differently. Usually instructors will use that first Saturday session primarily as kind of a introduction to the course, to talk about the course requirements and kind of get you acclimated to what you're going to be doing in the course, and then usually use that last Saturday session as a conclusion, kind of a summation of all the takeaways from the course. Your live synchronous sessions are held on Wednesday evenings through Zoom from 6 to 9:30. Obviously, you can attend those sessions from anywhere you are in the world. Those sessions, again, are scheduled to start at 6, and they will start promptly at 6. They're scheduled through 9:30. Some instructors will let you out earlier than that. It really depends upon the instructor and what's being covered on that evening. Those sessions are really designed to be interactive sessions. So there will be some presentation material, but there will also be a lot of opportunities for interaction. A lot of our instructors like to use breakout rooms in the Zoom session so we can break students up into smaller groups, have those small group discussions. And so again, everything we can do to foster interaction. Then your beach board sessions are not really sessions in that they're asynchronous. They're weekly assignments, usually posted to the discussion board element of beach board that you'll be completing throughout the week. And so the reason why we use those asynchronous elements, there are a couple of reasons. One reason is to keep us connected as a class in between our Wednesday live virtual sessions, but also for Carnegie hours. I don't know how familiar you are with Carnegie hours, but there are Carnegie hours that are required of every accredited academic program. And so we have to have some instructor-led hours outside of our Wednesday Zoom sessions since our courses are only 6 weeks in duration. And so we accomplish those Carnegie hours then through the use of discussion board feature on Zoom. Let's see if we have any questions in text chat so far. Let's see, we do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there was a question about electives. About if students can choose an elective as a cohort, or if they wanted to reconsider the options that have been pre-selected for them.
That's an excellent question. And usually what I will do, and I've done this for the past few cohorts, is I will send a survey out to the cohort. We'll wait until probably you're done with your second class, so you really have your feet on the ground in the program. I'll send a survey out and I will provide some options based upon staffing availability and based upon the availability of different courses. Give you some options that you can select from. And we'll kind of let the cohort vote as a majority rules. And so you'll have some input. And we can always change those 5 electives if necessary. But we'll probably look at sending that survey out and making that determination, like I said, after you finish your budgeting course. So somewhere around June or so is when we'll send that survey out. So yes, you should have some input in changing these courses if you would like. It's a very good question. Let's see. What else do we have in text chat? If I get my cursor to move. Despite COVID being lifted in the future, we should expect. Yeah, we're still planning on sticking with Zoom on those Saturday sessions. That's the plan moving forward for the duration of the cohort. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Again, any questions pop up, just stop me or feel free to put them in Zoom if I can get my screen to move again.
Yeah, there was just another question, I guess. So for the students starting now, cohort 22, and they'll be finishing 24. The question, I guess, is you want to make sure that students are asking that will we be throughout their entire cohort duration for those 2 years that they'll be online those Saturdays as okay.
Yes, that is the expectation.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions so far? In terms of registration, Matt already told you all about registration, so you're familiar with that, and I certainly can't do half the job that Matt did with it, so I'll leave that. But you do know registration is guaranteed. You're not competing with any on-campus students for registration. Your courses are only open to you as distance learning students. Each course is 3 units, and so a total of 39 units. We do have some prerequisites and internship requirements for our on-campus students, but because you are in a lockstep cohort, we waive those prerequisites and those internship requirements for you. So you don't have to worry about fulfilling an internship. You don't have to worry about the normal prerequisites we usually have for research methods and public budgeting. So those are waived for distance learning students. Okay, next up we have the competencies for NASPA. Now, as I mentioned, we are a NASPA accredited program, and being NASPA accredited means that we have 5 competencies that every student needs to demonstrate upon leaving the program. And those competencies are the ability to lead and manage in the public interest, the ability to participate in and contribute to the policy process, the ability to analyze, synthesize, think critically, solve problems, and make decisions in a complex and dynamic environment, the ability to articulate, apply, and advance a public service perspective, and the ability to communicate and interact productively and in culturally responsive ways with a diverse and changing workforce and society at large. So those are the 5 main competencies that you need to demonstrate as you leave the program. In our courses, we have designed assignments that will measure those competencies. And then as you'll see at the end of the program, you will complete 5 case studies in PPA 697 that will measure those competencies as well, and then submit a student learning portfolio that will also allow us as a program to assess your acquisition of those 5 competencies. But that really is very much what sets an accredited program apart from a non-accredited program. We are currently going through reaccreditation. Our reaccreditation year is actually next year. So we are in the process now of writing our self-study, which is due in August of 2022. And once that is submitted, then we will have a site visit team that will come to campus, probably in February of 2023, to visit us and talk to us about the on-campus and the distance learning program. And then our final reaccreditation would then occur in June of 2023. And that would then be an additional 7-year accreditation that will run through June of 2030. Again, we have been continuously accredited as the on-campus program since the late 1980s. The distance learning program was created in 1997 and then was accredited by NASPA in 2002. And the reason for that 5 years is a program has to be in existence 5 years before it can be accredited. So it was accredited as soon as it was eligible for accreditation. So as I said, you're going to learn these 5 competencies, and then we have to assess how well you've learned those competencies. One of the ways in which we do that is through this creation of a student learning portfolio. Now, when I first arrived here at Long Beach, we used a comprehensive exam, and that was our exit requirement for the program. We found that comprehensive exams didn't really achieve what we wanted them to achieve. And they didn't achieve what we want them to achieve because, number one, they weren't comprehensive. Students would take would have 5 areas. They would randomly select 3 of the core competency areas and write essays on those areas in a 2-hour session on Saturday morning at the end of their program. Didn't really work very well as a comprehensive type of assessment. So what we did is we replaced that with this thing called the student learning portfolio. And the student learning portfolio is one of the last things that you will submit. It probably will be the last thing you submit in your program. The student learning portfolio basically consists of 3 different elements. And we'll talk a lot more about this as you get closer to it. You know, this is a couple of years away before you're submitting it. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But there are 3 parts of the student learning portfolio. The first part consists of these things called initial and final skill self-assessments. The first thing you will do, the first assignment you'll probably have in PPA 500 is the completion of this thing called an initial skills self-assessment. The initial skills self-assessment is a very quick, honest self-assessment of your skills upon entering the program. And so Professor Berg will show this to you in PPA 500, but it consists of 3 parts. The first part of the initial skills self-assessment is you give us an ordinal ranking from 1 to 5 on how much you currently know on several different areas of the program. So how much you know about budgeting, how much you know about human resource management, how much you know about policy analysis. If you know nothing about it, you would give us a score of 1. If you know a great deal about it, you get a score of 5, and then you've got your gradations in between. So the first part is just that ordinal ranking. The second part of your initial skill self-assessment, you will give us a brief narrative description of your experience in budgeting, HR, organization behavior, policy analysis, and research methods / program evaluation. Just 1 or 2 sentences about the amount of experience you have. If you don't have any experience in those areas, then a valid answer is, I have no experience, and that's fine. Because the initial skill self-assessment is not graded based upon right or wrong answers. It's just an honest self-assessment, self-reflection of how much you know coming into the program. Then the third part is just your expectations from the program. What do you expect to get out of the program? Why are you here? How do you think the program or hope the program will help you in your career advancement? And those 3 parts make up what's called the initial skill self-assessment. You'll do that as one of your first assignments in PPA 500. Then in 697, once you've completed your 5 case studies, you will then do a final skill self-assessment, which is literally a redo of the initial skill self-assessment. So upon leaving the program in 2024, how much you know in these different areas of the program. And so obviously they're bookends so that we as a faculty can go back, compare your initial answers to your final answers, and hopefully document some growth throughout the program. So part 1 is just this initial that's done in 500, and the final one done in 697. Part 2 of the portfolio will be these things called pre and post instructional assignments. And let me explain those because they will be important for you as you go through the program. Each one of your core courses in the program, with the exception of 500 and 697. So the 5 core courses of public budgeting, human resource management, organization theory, policy analysis, and research methods / program evaluation, each of those 5 classes should have what's called a pre and a post-instructional assignment. The pre-instructional assignment will be due at the beginning of the class, usually within the first 2 weeks of the course. And then the post-instructional assignment will be due at the end of the course. The pre and the post-instructional assignment are going to be similar assignments. And in the pre-instructional assignment, you'll complete that without using any knowledge you've learned in the course because the course has just started. So we're kind of measuring how you would deal with this issue or address this scenario upon entering the course. Then the post-instructional assignment, you'll use all the information you've learned in the course to address that question or that scenario. Again, just giving us this ability to compare how much information you have acquired in each one of your core courses. So the pre and the post instructional assignments from all 5 of those core courses will then go into part 2 of the student learning portfolio. Then part 3 of your portfolio will be those 5 case studies that you completed in PPA 697. And that's it. That's the student learning portfolio. So you will be assembling the portfolio throughout your time in the program. That portfolio then gets submitted to me, and we'll talk about later on using OneDrive and how you submit it electronically. Don't worry about that right now. But it gets submitted to me no later than May 1st, 2024, that will then allow you to graduate in spring of 2024. So again, you don't have to worry much about the portfolio now. Just know that you're going to start building your portfolio in PPA 500 with the completion of that initial skills self-assessment, and then continue adding to it with your pre and post instructional assignments throughout your time in the program, your 5 case studies in 697, and then the final skills self-assessment that you will do as your last activity in PPA 697. If you've looked at the schedule, you'll see that we have designed the schedule so you don't finish your program with PPA 697. We have actually scheduled your 2 sections of PPA 697 for summer of 2023. And the reason why we've scheduled them well before your graduation date is to give you extra time to work on those case studies. So you'll have a 6-week session for 697 section 1 and a 6-week session right after that for section 2 of PPA 697. So that basically gives you those 12 weeks that you're going to be working on your case studies. Even if you don't finish the case studies by the end of those 12 weeks, you'll still have time to work on those case studies as you complete your pre-selected electives and finish up your credit hour requirement in the program. We want to build in that extra time for you to finish those case studies. But regardless of when you get the case studies done, your final student learning portfolio must be submitted no later than May 1st of 2024. But again, as we get closer to 697, we'll talk more about it, and we'll discuss how 697 works, and probably have a Zoom session just devoted to 697. But any questions at this point in time on any of that so far? Everyone good? Okay.
I have a quick question. This is Daria. Do you happen to know what would be the end date of the program? My employer is supposed to reimburse me a portion of my tuition, and they want to know now what's the expected end date.
Sure. Well, your last class, my eyes are getting bad. Your last class, I think, ends on March 23rd, 2024. You'll submit your portfolio on May 1st, 2024, and be cleared for graduation. And then you'll be graduating then in May of 2024. It sometimes takes a university, and Jenny can speak to this better than I can, but it takes a university some time to actually post your degree. But you'll be all done with coursework and your portfolio and everything no later than May 1st of 2024.
Your degree, yeah, to add to what Dr. Powell is saying, your degree though may take a few weeks to be processed. So if it's your employer is asking for a physical degree, expect 4 to 6 weeks after that date that Dr. Powell given for your degree to be ready by the university. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they just usually ask for end date for the class so that I can be reading.
Okay, yeah, because just to be sure, because I know some employers are saying they want the degree, as the verifying your completion of the program. But if your employer is just asking for an end date, then yes, just refer to the schedule of class date, the date that we have listed on the schedule of classes.
Okay, so that would be the May 1st, 2024.
The last day of your last class is scheduled for March 23rd of 2024. The May 1st is when the deadline for submitting your portfolio. You can always submit your portfolio before that, because you will be done with your 697 case studies. Theoretically, you could be done with those Let me check the schedule, 697. You could theoretically be done with those by September of 2023. And once you finish those case studies, you have everything you need for the submission of your portfolio. So you don't have to wait to May 1st to submit your portfolio. You can submit it as soon as you got the 5 case studies done and you have your final skills self-assessment done. Then you can submit your portfolio. But the last day of your last class is scheduled for March 23rd, 2024.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Absolutely. It's a good question. Let me cover a couple of really quick policies, and then we'll turn our attention quickly to PPA 500 and what you can expect in that course. There are a couple of administrative hurdles, if you will, that all graduate students must get past in order to graduate. One of those hurdles is what's called advancement to candidacy. We typically will advance the candidacy as a cohort, and it literally is everyone's advancement form, unless you are bringing in transfer credit. And if anyone does have transfer credit, so you completed some coursework in another MPA program, preferably a accredited MPA program, please talk to me and talk to Jenny about bringing those units in. But unless you're bringing in units from another university, everyone's advancement to candidacy form is going to look the same because we're a lockstep cohort. Everyone's taking the same courses. But the advancement form just lists, here are the courses that you're taking, here's the semesters in which you're taking those courses, just so the university knows what you're doing as your program of study. It's basically a contract between you and the university, where the university is saying, if you complete all this coursework that you have listed on your advancement to candidacy form, then we will graduate you with the MPA degree. So the advancement to candidacy form we'll do together as a cohort. We usually do that over the summer, so sometime in the summer of 2022. Then you'll also need to do what we call petition to graduate, and Jenny can speak to this as well, but petition to graduate is different today than it used to be. You can do this directly through the Enrollment Services website, so we don't have to actually do it as a cohort anymore, but you will have to petition to graduate no later than October 15th of 2023. And Jenny and I will keep sending you reminders, and we'll make sure you remember that date, so you get reminders from our office. But you'll need to do it by October 15, 2023, that if you're going to graduate in spring of 2024. What the petition to graduate does is it then allows Enrollment Services to run a grad check on you in spring 2024 to make sure, yes, you did take all the courses that were listed on your advancement to candidacy form. But again, those are two administrative things that we will certainly help you out with and help you get taken care of as a cohort. Jenny, anything in addition to that on petition to graduate?
Yeah, well, going back to the advancement to candidacy first. So after you've completed your second course, PPA 555, what I'll do is, and once the grades have posted, I'll email you guys the form, because then after those 2 classes are completed, you'll be eligible to advance to submit an advancement to candidacy. And then I can process that for you. And again, as Dr. Powell stated, I know some of you came from, Cal State Dominguez Hills or another institution. You'll need to submit, those classes as well. And then that way we can do a course transfer substitution. But I'll go into, those specific instructions once we get to actually emailing you the form. But that is something that, we'll be doing later in the year, typically during the summer. And then it's usually, prior to same time in the summer, the following summer, I usually also send, the following year, I'll send an email reminder, and so will Dr. Powell, just reminding all of you to file to graduate. As Dr. Powell stated, the process is a little bit different. The university is definitely trying to reduce, the paper trails. So you will be able, once you're eligible to do so, go into your student's account via your My CSULB Student Center and submit your graduation request there. And I know, Dr. Paul, the price has, filing the graduate fee has changed. That I'm not sure what it is now. I know I can get that information later, but there will always be typically before October 1st. And if for whatever reason you've missed that deadline, not that you can't file, you still can, but you will be charged a $10 late fee in addition to paying the graduation fee. Right? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and the late, yeah, they will charge you a $10 late fee if you file after October 15th, but they always accept them. I mean, they're not going to keep you from graduating just because you missed that date.
They want your money, so
Exactly.
they're gonna get it for you anyhow. So yeah, so we'll again we'll definitely follow up with you guys because we are aware of those dates before you guys are. So we'll be sure to follow up with you to make sure that you are submitting those requested required items accordingly. And then I saw in the chat we had a question about graduation. So as a CSULB student, you guys are eligible to attend graduation. Graduation ceremonies are only held during the spring with our university. And there'll be ceremonies designated for different colleges. And I say colleges, and that's something that you guys will, you'll be hearing a lot more. While you guys are the Department of Public Policy and Administration, you guys are housed under the College of Health and Human Services. So what the university does when they're hosting their graduation ceremonies during the spring is that they will be celebrating them by the colleges. So you, along with the other departments in the College of Health and Human Services, will have a ceremony. Typically, we also do something in-house, Dr. Powell. We do have a hooding ceremony. I know that's kind of given the circumstances to be determined how that will be hosted. But I know in the past, in addition to the university's graduation ceremony that they hold for the students, we do have something in-house known as the hooding ceremony. And that's a ceremonial event that we have to essentially hood you guys and recognize you guys as as graduate students. And we have done that in person again before. Again, right now, given the current circumstances, we've been hosting that virtually, but I guess Dr. Powell will just have to kind of see what university says in terms of whether we're able to host in-person events again. But then I saw that regarding participating in these in said events, it is optional. You, regardless, once you complete the program, you are going to be awarded a Master in Public Administration. You will be given a degree. So whether you participate in the ceremony or not, you will still be awarded a degree. You won't be actually getting, to clarify that, another question I just saw, you won't be getting your degree when you graduate either. It is strictly just the ceremonial piece, but nothing, no physical forms or again, not the actual degree will be given to you that day. So I hope that clarifies that too.
Right, yeah, exactly, just what Jenny said. And the past 2 years, our hooding ceremony, we've had to do virtually, obviously, because of COVID. I don't know, so I was the department chair for the Graduate Center for the past 7 years. Dr. Butts is the interim chair for this year. So he'll be getting the communication from the college and university about what their plans are for graduation. I know that they're planning again this year to do graduation at Angel Stadium. I think we got that email pretty recently. Last year, the university graduation at Angel Stadium, I thought it was a great event. I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I've ever gotten to sit in the dugout of a major league stadium, so I really enjoyed that. But it was a great ceremony, and they had stages set up out in the parking lot where you could go and do individual pictures. I know they're planning on doing the university graduation again this year at Angel Stadium. I don't know for 2024 if they're going to continue to do that. I guess it depends on their contract with Angel Stadium. But as Jenny said, we do our own hooding ceremony before, usually, sometimes we do it the day of graduation. That's what we've been doing recently. With our virtual ones, we've had it on a different day just because of the logistics. But for 2024, it'll depend upon who the chair of the department is in terms of how the graduation will work, because everyone who wants to participate in graduation participates, whether you're an on-campus student or a distance learning student. It's all the same ceremony. And so there's no difference between the two.
Mhm.
And then, like Jenny said, attending is optional. You're going to get your degree once you complete your degree requirements, no matter what, whether you go to the ceremony or don't go to the ceremony. There's also a question I see in text chat about the SLP being required, the student learning portfolio. Yes, that is required of every student. So everyone needs to turn in the student learning portfolio. The approval process for the portfolio, whenever I get your portfolio in 2024, I'm just going to review it for organization. I don't go back and regrade everything in the portfolio. All the grades and the comments you've gotten on the assignments from your course instructors, those all stand. I'm just making sure you have those 3 elements in there and that you've included everything that needs to be included. And so I'm just doing an organization and completeness, if you will, check of your portfolio. When you turn in your portfolio and I approve it, I then email Jenny and let her know, and then she gets you cleared with enrollment services. Whenever your portfolio is cleared with enrollment services, that requirement's cleared, you'll see on your unofficial transcript at the bottom, it will say graduate project complete. When it says graduate project on your transcript, it's referring to the student learning portfolio. So yes, everyone has to do the student learning portfolio. In terms of the cost of transcripts with the university, that I'm not aware of. Jenny, do you happen to know that?
The cost, the prices vary, but I will verify. Last I checked, it was $10 to request transcripts, official transcripts. But I'll in the email I'm working on right now, I'll also get that updated dollar amount. There are no limits to as of right now. Actually, no, I think there are. I think 2 or 3. You can only request up to 2 or 3 per semester. But I will also verify that as well regarding the transcript requests for the university. And that's just specific to our school. Are you? I assume you're asking about our school, not other schools, but yes, I'll go ahead and get a correct dollar amount regarding that.
All right. Thank you, Jenny.
Mhm.
And just to finish up some of these policies, then I know we're starting to run long, and then I'll get into 500 really quickly. Continuous enrollment, you must maintain continuous enrollment in fall and spring semesters. Now, obviously, you're going to be registered by CPI. You've got your schedule already. You know which courses you're going to be taking. The electives may change a little bit depending upon feedback from your cohort, but you know what courses you're going to be taking. So you'll be registered in those courses, but the university requires all students to be continuously enrolled from the time in which they enter the university until they graduate. So if there's something happens or life intervenes and you're not going to be able to complete one of the courses in the program, you need to reach out to me, reach out to Jenny, include Matt on the email as well, all 3 of us, and let us know that as soon as possible, because we are a lockstep program. And if someone is unable to complete one of the courses, that does become an issue, because then we're going to have to find some way for that student to complete that course at a later date with a future cohort. And it really becomes very, very messy. And so it really is in your best interest and everyone's best interest if you can, stick with the schedule and complete the courses as they are laid out there for you. Textbooks, you will get a notice before the course about what textbooks are required. The textbooks, we oftentimes don't go through the bookstore because you can get them quicker and you can get them cheaper online. And it depends on the course that you're in. Some courses require 2 textbooks, some require 1 textbook. Some courses don't have textbooks, in that the instructor just provides readings to you. So it really depends upon the instructor and the course. Go ahead.
Well, but if you prefer, it is available. You can go under, and I'll again include that in the link that the email that I'll send out. But you can go on to the University Bookstores website, and you can search by the class name and section number to see what the textbook requirements are. I know some students ask about renting textbooks. If that is something financially more your preference, you can do that too through our bookstore, and you can make arrangements with them.
And one quick caveat to that is that that's true, but some of our instructors don't submit to the bookstore for their DL classes. And so if they don't submit, the bookstore may not have that list. They may have it from a previous semester if they submitted in a previous semester. So, again, it kind of varies. But yeah, it'll be available in the bookstore, but you can oftentimes get them online as well, which the bookstore probably doesn't like me saying that. So
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say that, but it's true. Let's see. In text chat, we've got Kim, is attending every class mandatory? What's the process? We're not able to attend a Zoom session. That's a really good question. That is going to, like any other class, is going to depend upon your instructor. So if you think there's a Zoom session you're not going to be able to attend, I'd recommend reaching out to your instructor as soon as possible, explaining to them that you won't be there and why you won't be able to be there. For most instructors, it's not an issue because all of our sessions are recorded, and the instructor will provide a link to that recording on the Beachboard site. So you can always go and watch that recording if you're not able to attend the Zoom session. I tend to be a little more lax in terms of the Zoom sessions. If someone says, I've got a city council meeting or something like that, I cannot come, I just say, watch the recording. If you have any questions, send me an email and we can answer those questions. Some of our other instructors are a little stricter in terms of making sure everyone is at that Zoom session. Some of our instructors will use participation points for attending the Zoom sessions. I don't do that because I believe that you're professionals and you can make those decisions on your own, but it's really on an instructor by instructor and course by course basis.
Sorry, Dr. Powell, just to go back to that transcript question real quick. It's actually $12 right now to request official transcript from the university, and you can send it. The system will allow you to order up to 5 transcripts to be sent. And again, I'll include the link on that email I'm working on.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenny. Any general questions about the program or anything we've discussed about the program up to this point in time? I know there was another question about, to clarify and confirm that we're going to be 100% online. This is an issue Jenny and I have talked about, and I've kind of gone back and forth on it in that my concern is if we migrate back onto campus, say in 6 or 9 months, my concern is there are some folks who have joined the cohort assuming and expecting that everything will still be on Zoom. And it kind of complicates things if we do move back onto campus, but we have a good portion of the cohort that's not able to attend those Saturday sessions because they didn't expect that to be a requirement in the program. For instructors to do what we call a high flex approach, where they will run an on-campus class at the same time run a concurrent Zoom session. I've done that in the past for my budgeting course in previous summers, and it's a lot of moving parts. And I've been teaching on Zoom for years now, and it was tough for me to coordinate both of those two courses going on at the same time. And my concern is that whether or not some of the instructors in our program would be able to teach in that type of a high flex approach. That's why now I'm leaning now toward just keeping everything on Zoom so we can accommodate everyone in the cohort and don't make it so that some folks can't attend those Saturday sessions. And so that's just a clarification of my thinking on the topic. Professor Berg, did Professor Berg come with us today, or? I don't think she made it. So let me just really quickly talk about PPA 500. Again, Professor Berg is going to be your instructor for that first course. Your PPA 500 course will begin 2 weeks from today. So February 26th at 9 a.m. It will be done through Zoom, and Professor Berg has provided that link to you, and it's on the PPA 500 Beachboard site. The purpose of PPA 500 has really transformed, if you will, over the past few years. We got together as a nucleus faculty about 3-4 years ago and talked about how PPA 500 was really not serving the purposes it was meant to serve. I had the pleasure of reviewing all of your applications, and again, congratulations on admission to the program. Every year, our admissions becomes more and more rigorous. And so the academic profile for everyone who's here this morning in the DL program is higher than what we've seen in previous DL cohorts and higher than what we typically see in our on-campus program. So congratulations. I mean, it's really a strong commentary on your academic preparation. But in having the pleasure of reviewing your applications, I did notice that We have folks from a variety of different academic backgrounds. You know, there's some folks who majored in political science, which you would expect in a program like this, but we have sociologists, and we have health science folks and human development majors. We have majors in engineering and majors in business, and really runs the gamut of all different academic disciplines. So what we decided in 500 is we needed a course that really emphasized public administration as a discipline, and what makes public administration unique and different from other academic disciplines, and most importantly, how the public service fits within American democracy. And so we designed the 500 course to kind of emphasize the role of the public service in our American democratic system. So it's a completely different course than we used to offer 3 or 4 years ago, with really that emphasis on the nexus between public administration and American government. And you'll see that play out in the topics that Professor Berg covers with you, as well as the assignments that you're going to be doing. Now, again, you're going to have the initial skill self-assessment as your first real assignment. That's, again, an honest assessment. Don't worry about correct or incorrect answers. You're just honestly telling us what your current skill level, you feel your current skill level is across all these different areas as you are entering the MPA program. We said your Zoom sessions will then be on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, and then you'll have your beach board assignments. I do recommend as soon as that course is available to you, and it'll become, if it's not available yet, it'll become available after Matt registers you into the course. Go into the beach board site and look around the beach board site and kind of familiarize yourself with how Professor Berg has organized it, where the documents are under content, you know, the drop boxes, the discussion areas, and most of all, most importantly, familiarize yourself with the syllabus for the course. We are very concerned with making sure that students understand the syllabus, because that syllabus is really a contract between you and your instructor. So read through that syllabus. Any questions about the syllabus, feel free to reach out to Professor Berg. As I said earlier, if you run into any academic-oriented issues, such as an issue with an instructor or an issue with grading on the part of that instructor, the first place to go with that is obviously the instructor themselves. But if you can't remedy it with the instructor, then you'll want to reach out to me, CC Jenny on your email, and we kind of handle that academic side of the equation. There is a grade appeals process that I hope no one will have to use. It's very rarely used, but it does exist. If you feel a grade you received is arbitrary, capricious, or prejudicial, you can always file a grade appeal, and I can walk you through that process, as can our interim chair, Dr. Butts. I doubt you'll have any of those experiences. People usually have great experiences in our courses. We always send out a survey, an alumni survey. We just sent one out a few months ago. And the last question on the survey is the one I really focus on. And we always ask our alums, how likely are you to recommend the program to friends or colleagues or coworkers? And we get about 98% of our alums say that they would strongly agree that they would recommend the program to their friends and colleagues. And so we're really proud of that, and we work hard to keep that satisfaction rate as high as we can. But Jenny and I are here to help you with any of your academic issues you may run into in the program. I think you'll enjoy working with Professor Berg. Again, she's been with the program for quite a while. She does an outstanding job. She's very kind, she's very approachable, and she's very much oriented around seeing you succeed in the course and in the program. So I'm sure you will love working with her as an instructor. That's all I have for you today. Any questions? I know we're over time, but any questions about anything?
Well, Dr. Powell, sorry if I missed this one, and you already clarified it, but is a student asked, is it attending class mandatory? What is the process if students aren't unable to attend a Zoom session?
Yeah, we address that, and it's instructor by instructor, course by course. So if you're going to miss a Zoom session, reach out to your instructor in advance.
Okay.
And just something to add from our end, the registration end, no one's registered into anything yet. Today's orientation, first class time, we're all getting together. This is why I was asking the questions about how you would all like to be registered. So once I get back to the office next week, I will start processing registrations. You'll be registered by the end of the week, if not sooner than that. Jenny, spoke with her. She's going to be sending out emails again with the attachments from today's session. Included will be an example email, enrollment email that I send out. So you see that. And then the CPI services. Included in the CPI services is a bunch of information that I've covered, including the payment plans and how you go about optimizing those payment plans and utilizing that. So there's information on that. Any questions you have about any of those things, don't hesitate to reach out to myself. Like Dr. Powell was saying, anything academic, go see David and himself and Jenny. Anything administratively, please don't hesitate to email me. Beyond that, I'm pretty much all set. I'm just waiting to hear back from 2 individuals about how they would like their registration process. If I don't hear back from them by chat, if those 2 individuals can email me directly and let me know. We need to discuss further, we can. But beyond that, just want to let you know I will start processing registrations on Monday.
Thank you, Matt. And Matt is outstanding. We've been working for years with Matt, and Matt knows the program very well. You know, Matt's gone through it, so he knows it from both sides of the equation. And so it's always a pleasure to work with you, Matt. I really appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Yes, everything as well with you and Jenny. It's great, and the students are always fantastic. So looking forward to another new cohort, guys, and another great year.
Thanks, Matt. And as always, I extol the virtues of Jenny all the time. Jenny's amazing. I know you know that already. You've been dealing with Jenny through the application process, but Jenny is always on top of everything. Even before I think of it, Jenny's already thought of it, and she's already initiated the work. And so I'm very thankful to Jenny, and there wouldn't be a distance learning program if not for Jenny. So thank you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Roth. Thank you, Dr. Roth. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Chad. Thank you guys again for attending today's orientation. Again, I'm just working on a very lengthy, and I apologize in advance, email, but just a recap of covering everything that we talked about. It'll include the links to our department page with all of the handouts that Dr. Powell went over today during the orientation. I'll attach the handouts that Matt Reimers went over regarding your registration. That again, he'll be assisting you next week, as well as the resources that Chad Harris provided, with Beachboard and Zoom. Things that we touched on briefly and or may have missed are also going to be included on there, including the university bookstore, ID card services, the university library, which, again, as CSULB students, you guys do have access to that. The hours and the current services that are being offered right now are limited, but again, I'll also be including information regarding that. On that note, if you do plan on coming to campus, be it to visit the library or to access ID card services, please be advised that parking is enforced on our campus. So I went ahead and included parking information regarding purchasing, a daily permit or purchasing different types of long-term permits. I'm also going to be including that. Dr. Powell, lastly, the student organization, the CSU, you guys are a part of the, public policy and administration program. And there is a student organization that was created by students in the program. It's the Master Public Administration and Association, and it's again organized by our students in the program. They meet periodically. Right now, currently, again, due to circumstances via Zoom, but I will also go ahead and give you their information. And of course, when they do have their virtual meetings, and again, any extracurricular fundraising or social events, I will also go ahead and send that to you guys. That way, I mean, you guys are a cohort, and it's great that you guys have each other, but this will also be a chance for you to mingle with the students in the stateside program as well. Transcripts link, the link to activate your campus email, as well as the financial aid presentation that we shared with you earlier today. Dr. Powell, am I missing anything else? But that's kind of what this email that I'm sending out will cover right now.
Yeah, sounds like you got it all. And this recording, we'll make sure we make available to you. I think probably, again, the best way for me to do it is provide the link probably to Professor Berg, and she can just put it right into the PPA 500 class, rather than trying to send it to you through OneDrive or anything like that. You think that works well for you, Jenny, if I send it to Professor Berg?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you, of course, but.
Yeah, yeah, because I was gonna say alternatively, you could, yeah, if you sent me the link on a shared drive through the OneDrive, I could just send that, send that link too. But if it's easier to upload onto Beachboard, because at least they'll have it on the course page, that might be easier to access too.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll do it like that this year, just through PPA 500 and see how that works. I think it might be kind of that one-stop shopping, might make it easier. So, okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Again, we'll make that recording available for you. I hope it has been useful, the information we received today. We're very excited to work with all of you, and we think you're really going to enjoy the program. So,
thank you. This was great. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time as well, guys.
And again,
thanks everyone.
Okay, bye. Go Bengals.
I thought I was going to hear a Go Beach.
Well, that too. Go Beach.
Go Beach.
Stop being disrespectful. Rams Nation, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm from Cleveland, so I don't even get to root in the Super Bowl. I never have. So.
But you never will.
Never will. That's right.
But it's an Ohio team, Dr. Powell. So hey.
No, it is. I mean, I've got to lean toward the Bengals because they are from Ohio. But
I like it. Okay, have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
take care.
much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.